Hey everyone, my name is Joy, and thanks to MMPS and Oz Arts, I'll be leading you through a STEAM activity using movement and our bodies as the main vehicle. Now you're probably thinking, what is STEAM? STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. The mission of STEAM is to provide you with knowledge, experiences, and skills needed to solve problems of the 21st century as you move into college and your careers. One of the ways we do this is by looking at how different subjects and disciplines can share similar goals and processes. Today, we'll be looking at the arts and how it can connect to the other letters in the acronym. Today, we'll be looking at the 4 C's of education as a model for our activity. The 4 C's of education are critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. It is said that poetry is musical thought. Poetry is about flow, rhythm, meaning, and expression. In fact, many types of poems don't need words at all. Hence why it's so easy for dance to mimic poetry. Dance is poetry in motion. Today, we're going to manipulate the elements of dance to explore various ways to create movement that reflects specific characters, behaviors, and themes. The integration of reading, analyzation, and dance provides multiple modes of learning, which will help you apply deeper meaning to the information I'm giving you. We're going to analyze and take a deeper look at Amanda Gorman's poem, Talking Gets Us There. Amanda C.S. Gorman is an American poet and activist. Her work focuses on issues of oppression, feminism, race, and marginalization, as well as the African diaspora. A Harvard graduate, Gorman made history as the youngest ever poet to recite at a presidential inauguration. There are a couple things that you should know about me before we get started. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, and Nashville is the 3rd city that I've gotten the pleasure to live in. I love to dance. I even got my degree in it. I'm currently a professional dancer with a contemporary dance company in the area called New Dialect. Despite what you might think, you don't have to be professionally trained to move your body. Dance is naturally in all of us. Now let's get moving.
This is a poem I wrote called Talking Gets Us There. It's normal to notice what makes us different, because what makes us different is what makes each of us so special. There's beauty in every type of face and in every type of freckle. From the curl of your hair to the color of your skin, no one is exactly the same, not even twins. But across time and place, people have been treated unfairly just because of their race. So heroes get into good trouble. They have to struggle for a long while, but when they win, it's worth every mile. People of color still experience racism today. So it's up to all of us to say enough is enough, to speak out with all our hearts, and that starts at home. It starts with asking questions about race when we're taught about it. Together, I know we can tackle racism. But first, we have to talk about it.
It's important to remember that we're trying to tell a story when we dance. So, we need to analyze the overall narrative Amanda is trying to tell us. What do you think the poem is about? That's right, Amanda is trying to get us to realize that the things that make us different make our world beautiful. And unfortunately, there are many people being judged for what makes them unique or different. In this case, it's the color of their skin. But we can't start to fix a problem if people aren't aware of it. That's why Amanda is encouraging us to talk to each other. That's the story we want to tell through our movement. We're going to go line by line and break down Amanda's words. You'll see that I have separated the poem into 17 different lines. This means we're going to have 17 different phrases of movement. In the first line, it reads, "It's normal to notice what makes us different." What words stand out to you? The 2 words that I pay attention to are notice and different. So I'm going to center my movement around those 2 words. I'm going to continue to do this with every phrase. So, it's normal to notice. So notice is my 1 word. So I'm going to notice my body, and then different. That's my gesture for different because I think that I'm showing 2 different sides. The next line is, because what makes us different is what makes each one of us so special. The highlighted words for me in this line are different and special. I'm gonna repeat the same gesture that I used for different in the last sentence. So I'm just gonna take it a little bit different than I did before. So instead of just being stationary, I'm gonna take it back and do different. And then something that I think makes me really special is my smile. So I'm gonna show that off in the choreography that I choose. So after different, I'm gonna go up and smile. The next line reads, there's beauty in every type of face and in every type of freckle. My words are beauty, face, and freckle. So the movement that I choose is going to mimic that. There's beauty in every type of face and in every type of freckle. So my movement kind of mimics what a freckle would be on somebody's face. The fourth line is, from the curl of your hair to the color of your skin. Curly hair makes me think of spinning, so I'm going to use that in my choreography. The next is the color of your skin. So I'm going to brush across my skin to represent that action. The next line reads, no one is exactly the same. I choose to show something that makes me individual. I really like my hair, so I'm going to fluff it around. So after color of my skin, I'm just gonna fluff around my hair. Choose something that you think that makes you individual and really unique. And then the next line is not even twins. Of course, my word is twins. So I would do something that I feel mimics that, even if it only makes sense to you. So after fluffing my hair, something that makes me individual, I'm going to put up 2 fingers because I feel like it represents twins, 2 in the same. The next line is, but across time and place, people have been treated unfairly just because of their race. This line makes me a little sad. I can show that through my facial expressions, or I can show that through my body language. Here's what I choose. So after the twin line, I'm going to choose to kind of follow my hands to represent time and place. And then I'm going to bow my head and give a kind of like a frown, and also curling my body at the same time to show that sadness. So across time and place, people have been treated unfairly just because of their race. That's what I choose to show as my choreography. The next part is, so heroes get into good trouble. Heroes and good are the words I'm trying to focus on. So I'm going to try to align that with my choreography. So I just did across time and place. People have been treated unfairly just because of their race. Heroes get into good. Good is kind of an upbeat word, so I choose to do a jump. And then trouble. Trouble is something that you usually don't want. So I'm gonna choose to shield myself. After this line, they have to struggle for a while. What is the movement that makes you think of struggle? Here's mine. So after good trouble, I'm gonna choose to act like I'm pulling on a rope, trying to pull myself up as an example for struggle. So after struggle, the line is, but when they win, it's worth every mile. You celebrate when you win. So that's what inspired my movement here. So after struggle, I come in, I'm going to raise my fist to show that celebration, and then for it's worth every mile, I'm going to mimic walking or running with my fingers. After that, the line is, people of color still experience racism today. Racism is the discrimination against a person based on their racial or ethnic group. Racism is not a good thing at all. Maybe choose a movement that you feel isn't pretty or represents bad. So after this, I'm going to try to mimic being in handcuffs and breaking free from that as a symbol for what I think racism means to me. After that, the line is, so it's up to all of us to say enough is enough. What would your body language be if you said enough forcefully? Think of that when creating this line's movement. For me, it looks like this. So after I say people of color are still experiencing racism today, it's up to us, and I bring myself up because I'm part of us too, meaning the whole world, to say enough is enough. My movement looks like this. Enough is enough. And I repeat it twice because it says it twice. Next is to speak out with all of our hearts. Hearts is the big word. And to speak means to project. So how can you create a movement that embodies both? Here's what I choose. I choose to go around my heart and showcase it by opening up my fingers and then closing them up to represent the projection of speaking out. And then the next line is, and that starts at home. Is there a movement that makes you think of home? Here's mine. I'm gonna create a little house over myself. The next is, starts with asking questions about race when we're taught about it. Questions makes me think of confusing or searching. This is what I'm choosing to portray. So after it starts at home, I'm going to look around a little bit and then come to my thinking pose. Don't you see people do this a lot when they're thinking? That's what I choose to show for the word questions, or that line specifically. The next line is, together, I know we can tackle racism. When I think of tackle, I think of football. I feel like my movement is an individual representation of that. So after my questions line, I'm gonna go into together, which I choose to showcase through my hands, and then tackle. A movement that I think is forceful is forcibly moving the air with my hands. So that's my word for tackle. After that, but first we have to talk about it, is the last line of the whole poem. Talk, that's the biggest word here. Lots of times we judge others because we don't know of their experiences. By talking to each other, we can learn to let go of our bias. You want to choose movement that you feel like closes out your dance and brings it to an end. What does that look like for you? For me, it looks like this. So after I just did tackle, I'm going to come around and I'm going to have an aha moment. But first, we have to talk about it. I choose to show talking with my hands, kind of portraying words coming out of my mouth. And that's how I broke it down. Now that we've broken it down, it's time to put it all back together. Here's what my full dance looks like.
Talking gets us there. It's normal to notice what makes us different, because what makes us different is what makes each of us so special. There's beauty in every type of face and in every type of freckle. From the curl of your hair to the color of your skin, no one is exactly the same, not even twins. But across time and place, people have been treated unfairly just because of their race. So heroes get into good trouble. They have to struggle for a long while, but when they win, it's worth every mile. People of color still experience racism today. So it's up to all of us to say enough is enough, to speak out with all our hearts. And that starts at home. It starts with asking questions about race when we're taught about it. Together, I know we can tackle racism. But first, we have to talk about it.
Now that we've dived deeper into the poem and you've seen my example, I encourage you to create your own phrase. The movement doesn't have to be complicated, so trust your instincts. There is no wrong in dance, only a sense of exploration. Now, let's do a quick recap. Poetry is about flow, rhythm, meaning, and expression. It can come in many different forms, including dance. Amanda Gorman is teaching us an important lesson. Although racism is still prevalent in our world, we can all take a step towards equality by having a conversation about it. As we learned today through the analyzation of the poem and the choreographing of our own piece, dance is all about you, your experiences, and your own interpretations. There is no right or wrong. Well, it looks like I'm all out of time. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you for the next STEAM lesson.